Hi there and welcome. Today is Friday, which can mean only one thing. It is time for your weekly top up of oenological nonsense poured out for you by myself, Bert. This week has been a really special week because we've finally seen the weather change for the better. The sun has been shining and that means all of you guys at home have had your coals burning and barbecue season is officially started. Now, what sort of wine do we have with a barbecue? With those burgers, with those steaks and with those sausages? Well, red wine is always a great pairing. And how do we celebrate? With sparkling wine. So why not combine the two? This sort of style is perfect for those sorts of occasions. It's got that lovely robustness, but it has that lovely acidity that cuts through all those sort of fatty flavors that you can get, all that lovely smoky character. Sparkling red, as we sort of know it, was made famous in the 1970s with Gragnano and Lambrusco from Italy, both wines of which had been made for 1500 years prior by monks in monasteries in Campania. But styles like this were really pioneered in southern Australia. This particular wine, the Miss Molly, is made by the Molly Duca vineyards, and the parcels of Shiraz that are used are both in the McLaren Vale and the Langhorne Creek, both of which are about 65 to 70 kilometers away from Adelaide. And that particular area in the 1800s was massively famous for Pinot Noir, where they were creating sparkling reds with Pinot Noir, and they were calling it sparkling Burgundy until the 80s. The EU banned it and said you can't call it that any longer. But the one thing that was really pioneered for these guys was sparkling Shiraz, and that was first documented in about 1891. Now, that was made by a Burgundian winemaker, of all people, called Edmund Mazur. And what happened is, like all things that are good, you get a cheap, rubbish alternative come out, and it kills the trade. Now, what we've got here, you may see, is a really interesting style of cork, and these guys are really famous for using it on their sparkling wine. It's called a muselet cork, muselet cage. And what we do is we peel this off. There we are. Oh, we can do it. Get in there. And done. And then what we do, just give it a little twist. Look at that. Isn't that just one of the most wonderful sounds? So, having watched me wrestle with the cork for 30 seconds, let's pour it into the glass. And look at those lovely soft moussey bubbles. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Look at the way that just melts down there. As you can see, they're still relatively dark in colour. Now, the thing I love about a sparkling Shiraz is it has all of that lovely tannic structure, you know, that little sort of grippy texture that you get on the teeth and the gums, but they have this nice level of acidity. But with this particular style, they normally have, I think this is about 9.5 grams of residual sugar a litre. Now, although that's considered still dry in the UK market, I think for those that are quite sensitive on the palate, they'll definitely feel that it's more on that off-dry style, and it creates this gorgeous creaminess. And smell-wise, you know, you can tell that that's definitely a Shiraz. It has those soft sort of like spicy white peppery notes, but there's hints of mocha. You've got that lovely plummy fruit. It's an absolute delight. On the palate, those bubbles are moussey, they're soft. As soon as they hit your tongue, they disappear. Temperature wise, I got this out about 10 minutes ago, which is perfect. You see, with the sparkling Shiraz, you want to serve it anywhere between sort of, or any sparkling red I should say, anywhere between 10 to 12 degrees Celsius, of course. And the best way to do that is, if you've had it in the fridge all day, is to get it out and leave it for about sort of 10 minutes, and generally speaking it will warm up about a degree every couple of minutes, and that should bring it up to temperature. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous wines, and perfect for these summer barbecues because they work really well with those smoky flavors, anything quite gamey. However, one of my favorite pairings with a sparkling Shiraz, oh, I mean, the smell is just wonderful. is a lovely lump of goat's cheese, and then you get some oats, crumple the oats on the top, and just some palm oil or something, some honey, I should say, and just drizzle that on the top. It's so simple, but it works so well. That lovely sweetness from the honey works with the sweetness of this. Then you have that lovely tart acidity from the goat's cheese. Again, because these aren't overly acidic, it works really well and creates a harmonious style. Nice thing about this particular one, the Molly Duca, is that it is vegan. So if you are that way inclined, by all means, pop on some beetroot on the barbecue. You get that gorgeous earthy character, that little bit of sweetness, and then obviously that smoky feel from the barbecue coals as well. And yeah, really works. So yeah, smiling, sun shining, it's a wonderful time. Why not pop over to your friendly neighbourhood wine merchant, grab yourself a bottle of sparkling red and toast it in style. Cheers.